Jain deemed to be university. Jain deemed to be university, an intellectual destination that draws inspired students from more than 38 countries. To the India Silicon Valley, Bengaluru has been established with an aim to provide quality education and entrepreneurial development. Due to its commitment to learning, research, academia, and entrepreneurial development, National Assessment and Accreditation Council (NAC) has awarded the highest grade A++ to Jain deemed to be university with a CGPA of 3.71 on a 4-point scale recently. A culturally vibrant campus constituting of students from various states contributed to achieve this award, which bolsters the culture and rich academic traditions of the university. Over the years, the university has made conscious and concerted efforts to build on its strengths and consolidate its achievements. Certified ISO 9001-2015 for quality management by TUV NOR, Jain deemed to be university is a member of Association of Universities of Asia and the Pacific. Jain deemed to be university has also been awarded 5 stars in the Young University category in Karnataka by KSURF IK ratings. We are happy to share that Jain deemed to be university in partnership with the Association of Indian Universities is hosting the second edition of Kalo India University Games 2021. School of Commerce, empowerment of students, enhancement of values, and enrichment of academics and research has been the hallmark of School of Commerce, Jain deemed to be university for nearly 3 decades. The constant innovations nurtured in its various spheres of functioning, which include global tie-ups such as ACCA, CIMA, CMA, CIPS, etc., and empirical learning practices like student immersion programs, entrepreneurs on training and business simulations, amongst others, have characterized the growth of the School of Commerce over the years. School of Commerce has a dynamic set of experienced and research-oriented faculty members who draw various countries towards keen learning environment. In the most recent India Today ranking, the School of Commerce has secured the 43rd position and the 6th rank in top 10 emerging colleges of India and the 8th rank among the top 10 colleges with the best placement record. Faculty Research Cell Samshodhana. Faculty Research Cell Samshodhana is an initiative of School of Commerce, Jain deemed to be university, and is aimed at enhancing research capacity of faculty and students to guide researchers in disseminating, publishing, and applying the research outputs. The Faculty Research Cell is instrumental in organizing webinars, FTPs, MDPs, workshops, national and international conferences. Student Research Development Cell, SHODA. The Student Research Development Cell was set up in year 2014 with the objective of providing a platform to students to set up into research paper writing and to direct the young intuitive minds of students in the right direction. Every year, it provides a platform for undergraduates and postgraduate students to present research paper, which has helped students to learn and present research papers in prestigious institutes, including IIMA and IIMB since then. The efforts of SRDC will continue to nurture vibrant mind and work towards enriching the experience of students. Global Entrepreneurship Conclave. Entrepreneurship in India has gathered pace, making the country one of the top startup hubs globally. In the context, the Faculty Research Cell Samshodhana, School of Commerce, Jain deemed to be university, is organizing Global Entrepreneurship Conclave, which aims to familiarize young students who aspire to budding entrepreneurs with the nuances of entrepreneurial ventures. It provides a platform for thought-provoking discussions on pertinent new age topics. The event attracts academicians, research scholars, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, pioneering change to come together to analyze real world business scenarios, deliberate their social impact, and stimulate meaningful discussions. The conclave gives a golden opportunity to inquisitive minds to interact with and get inspired by these leaders. Day two, idea competition DQ, define, design, and dazzle. If you look at history, innovation doesn't come just from giving people incentives. It comes from creating environments where their ideas can connect, says Stephen Johnson. The aim of Idea Competition DQ is to provide platform for the young aspiring entrepreneurs to ignite a spark for taking up innovative ideas and bring to fruition. Define the business plan to convince that our idea be coherent to time, money, and efforts focused on them. Entrepreneurship is a long-term engagement where one must design the business plan, which is an art of planning and sketching the outline of proposed business idea that is designed to create the foundation for smooth operations and dazzle it. To be successful in sustainable business practices requires focus on DQ. In this context, participants are invited to submit their ideas and present in Global Entrepreneurship Conclave. Everything begins with an idea, says Earl Nightingale. Jain University Incubator. Jain University Incubation Center is a not-for-profit technology business incubator supported by NSTEDB, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Jain deemed to be University, Bengaluru. JU Incubator team has been a great support in conducting the idea competition from the beginning, and all the ideas were screened and would be judged by them today as a part of the idea competition. We have the demonstration of the same in our Honorable Director, Dr. Dinesh Neelkant sir. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our beloved Director. Sir is currently with Jain deemed to be University as Director, School of Commerce, Director, CMS Business School, Dean of Management, and Director, Admissions. A career spanning 3 decades in the educational sector, Sir has contributed many best practices at Jain deemed to be University. Sir has been instrumental and has been our anchor in various initiatives at School of Commerce. I would now request our Director, Sir, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Annie Arnab. Good morning, one and all, and my pronouns to all of you. Respected head of the departments, faculty members, participants, students, on behalf of Jain University School of Commerce, I welcome you all for the second day of this idea competition. And I also want to appreciate the efforts of SRDC, that is the Student Research Development Cell, Samshodhana, that is the research cell of School of Commerce. And I also want to make a special mention of Dr. Guru Prasad, Dr. Sadanandam, Dr. Neha Chaudhary, Mr. Naresh, Mr. Nikhil, and a special mention of Jain University Incubation Center, Mr. Nayaz, and special thanks to Dr. NVH Krishnan, Registrar, who was instrumental in giving support of Jain University Incubation Center. I also want to welcome all the guests who have joined with us. So thank you very much for joining with us, and appreciate that in spite of your busy schedule, you are here. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, when they told me that it is the second day of the conference, and the theme, it was very interesting, and that was the idea competition. At that point of time, one thought came to my mind that we are an entrepreneurial thinking university, and till now we have incubated more than 50 businesses. So we feel very happy about it that students have taken so much of initiatives, and we have taken initiatives on this. And a collaboration with the students and the university has given us more than 50 businesses. But then we are not going to be satisfied with 50. We have to go ahead. And that is how we have thought of this idea competition, thanks to Shamshodana and SRBC. We are not just about to enter a new year. We are heading into a whole new decade. It's not about just entering into a new year. We are entering into a new decade. It's not going to be easy. All of you know that what didn't happen in decades happened in weeks, and what happened in weeks didn't happen in decades. And that was pandemic. And in that pandemic situation, you know, there was a huge transformation of businesses. What has happened? There was a huge disruption. Technology cropped in like anything. The entire face of businesses have changed. And under this scenario, the present batch, which is now studying in entire India, have to get into the corporate world or have to do business. So not easy, my dear friends. It's not easy. So at this point of time, when we are looking into an idea competition, it's going to be very, very interesting because many of them have got into technology-based startups. So that is how, let us see what they are going to look into. But when it comes to idea, my concern, the first statement which I want to give you is that if people are saying impossible, it is a convenient lie. So on that note, you can start with your idea. And the idea that we are looking at is, yesterday also I spoke on this, that idea is something which is invisible. You have to add value to it and make it visible. If you're doing business and if you want to see that that business has to come into limelight, that business has to be visible, right? And for that visibility, you have to see that your idea is concrete, your idea is having a business potential. Tomorrow I can't have a wishful thinking. Now that doesn't work. So you should have your business potential too. And ideas are very fragile, so they have to be nourished. And you will find that many, I have always seen that, that people say that, this I had thought earlier, but you know what, I didn't do it. And then somebody else has done it, and then they become a unicorn. And many a times we have seen people in India, because we all are very intelligent people, but we are also all very lazy people. We are also very intelligent people, but we don't have money also. So with all this, what happens is there are people with all these things who come up in limelight, and then we get to know that, this was the idea which I thought, but you know what, there was no support, I can't do this. And then we have n number of reasons for it. But my dear students, I want to tell you one very important thing, that money is secondary, trust me. Okay, if your idea is strong and if you can prove and convince people that your idea is good, it will work. Definitely money will flow. Definitely money will flow. There are a lot of now avenues where you can definitely get into it and see that somebody can come for a help, but at least you start. You can't just say that, I will wait for somebody will come and, give me a red carpet welcome that your idea is great. And then they will take me and one day I'll become a $1 million company. So this is all wishful thinking. All this doesn't happen. In fact, you will get to know after some days that this idea has been taken by somebody and they have become unicorns, and you are still there sitting in Lalbagh doing nothing. So this is how it works. So my request to you is, if at all, if you have something, talk about it. Let us see whether it is workable. And if it is workable, there are a lot of delegates here today. They may say that, okay, what can be done with this? And definitely students come out with fantastic ideas. The thinking is totally different. They are so energetic. They always think something, out of the box, and that can make a difference. So this is what I feel, that an idea should be nourished. And that is how idea has to be taken ahead. Now, what I look into is that as we are entering into a new year, so new decade, that means plenty of fresh opportunities, new challenges, and chances to build businesses that will create a better tomorrow. And also, the most important thing is that your businesses now have to reimagine new futures. You have to continuously see that how that same business can be done in a better way. And that is what people are looking for. People are looking for what value add I can get in. You should, when you are thinking of a particular idea, and if suppose if it is in the field of technology, as I have made a statement yesterday, that go and work with an entrepreneur. Give your 100%. And after, when you work with him for 1 year, you will understand the gaps. And when you understand the gaps, there you find that your ideas will crop in. And when your ideas crop in, at that point of time, you will get to know automatically that whether this idea has a potential, because you have already worked. So you will have all the knowledge of your marketing, finance, HR, and what is the struggle he goes in to do the business. And if at all, if your dad is just giving you a business, you are a lucky chap, but I'm very sure that in 3 years you will wind up. It will not work. And if your dad is going to tell you that you come and sit on my chair, don't do it, because if you're going to do that, your manager will soon become your competitor. So be very clear about this. So you have to go from the bottom to the top. If you're at all you want to join your company, go to the bottom, start working there, and then go and sit on that chair. It will work for you. If you directly go and sit on the chair, and if you are going to get tiffin box from your mom in the afternoon, and then you are going to sleep in the afternoon and all that, in 3 years, Govinda. That's all. Nothing more than that can happen. So my concern here is that please see that when you are thinking of getting into entrepreneurship, you have to put your efforts. You have to be energetic, and at the let us say that at night 9 o'clock also, if it's work is there, you should be with a smile say that I'll do. And one very important thing is that when it comes to entrepreneurship, I think so all the delegates will also agree with me. Don't get into self-employment. There is a lot of difference between entrepreneurship and self-employment. If you are going to get into entrepreneurship, and if you are going to get into self-employment, you are not going to grow with the business. Your business will be dependent on you, and if your business is dependent on you, your business will not grow, because you are not taking the leadership role. I'll give you an example. If you have set up a garment store, and if at all you find that you are sitting as the boss of that, and then when you have some salesmen, at that point of time, people come in, you tell the salesman, no, you don't show it, I'll do the business. Don't do it, because if at all you're going to do that, what's wrong? What is the wrong thing? What you're doing is you're wasting your time there. You could have developed your business somewhere else. Those are the people from whom you have paid money, so they should work for you. Don't try to get into that shoes and say that I will do everything, because I know that I'm perfect and it is the perfect way of doing. If you're going to do this, the business will get dependent on you. And if the business is going to be dependent on you, your business will not grow. And that is the reason many of them have not grown in business. They have not scaled their business, because their business is dependent on them. So this is what I wanted to say. That whenever you want looking into business, your growth will lie at the end of your comfort zone. Come out of the comfort zone. If you're not going to come out of the comfort, I told you that if your dad is going to be giving you a business, you tell him, sorry, I will take after some time, but let me come out of my comfort zone. And that is how you will learn business. The journey of entrepreneurship is a long one with uneven twists, turns, uncertainties. So there are some, I have always seen that the people normally do these mistakes. So I thought that I should tell you that these mistakes should be avoided. First is jugaad. This is a very common word in India. कि जुगाड़ में हो जाएगा, कुछ नहीं होता है जुगाड़ में. जुगाड़ में एक बार आप लकी हो सकते हो. It doesn't work. It works with systems and processes. So it doesn't work with जुगाड़. नहीं मैंने कर दिया. I'm very intelligent. I am so and so. I can do this. I can do. Bank people just gave me money. That all is okay, but then it's all where you're doing jugaad. You don't have systems and processes in place, and that way the business will not go, and that is why your business is not being scalable. Second, I will hire later good people. If you are not going to hire professionals, and if you think you are a professional, it will not work, because your idea was there, but you are not a professional. If I have an idea and if I want technology, I don't know technology, so I have to hire technological people. I have to hire software people. Then they will help me. But if I am going to say that I will only do everything, it will not work. So that is the next. And I have hired, let them work. So then the next thing is that I have hired people. Now I have hired software people. Now that is their job. They should work. And when they work, they should give me results. So I will still sit like a bacha. It will not work. You have to work with them. I told you, you have to work along with people. Teamwork is important. What I say is not important. What we say is important. And I will take money when it comes from the business. Till then, I'll be just pumping in. If your business is not going to give you profits after a certain span of time, think about it. Think about how much are you going to wait. There's a limit. You can't wait for years to years and years and years together saying that one day I'll make profit. It will not work. It will not work. Of course, I know the fact that whenever you start business on the first day, you will not get your business. You have to give a certain amount of time. I'll give you almost 1 year to see that it gets settled. Okay, 2 years I'll give. But after that, if your business is not giving you money, then in that case, you have to think about the business again. And one more, these are the common mistakes which people take. And building a great business is not about only putting money. Whenever you have some ideas, it's not about bringing money. It's about doing the business. And one more thing I wanted to tell you is that you have to be extra smart when you are doing your business. I'll give you one example. There was a Japanese company and they were selling soaps. And what happened is that one lady from the store purchased that soap, went home, opened the box, and to her surprise, there was no soap in it. So she was like, what's wrong? What is this? And she goes to the store again and says that, see, I opened this box and there was no soap in this. Then the store guy said, okay, fine, let me look into it. And they compensated and all that. But then they reported this to the company. When it was reported to, I want all the students to think, listen to this very carefully, very interesting thing. When it went to the company looked into it and said that it's impossible, it cannot happen. Then they said, no, this is a fact now. Then they called the entire team and said, there is a complaint. Trust me, for that one box, the entire team was called, the productions, operations, all the CEOs, everybody was discussing about it for that one box. And then they said, what went wrong? At that point of time, the production manager said that there's a possibility that out of 1 million boxes, one box can have this problem. Why is that so? The reason being, what happens is there is a transition after 1 million box. The second million which is coming in, there is a transition, and in that transition, one box moves, which is without soap. So because of that, that problem has come. So how we will know this? Then look at this. They said we have to do something and then think about it for one day. Then all of them thought and they came out with a lot of things. And then finally, they put one X-ray machine. And then in that X-ray machine, they could see that whether the soap was there or not. Now, they got the problem solved. The moment that happened, the production manager was boasting about himself and was telling the laborers that, look, we did so much and this is what it is. One labor, an uneducated guy, got up and said, sir, I want to tell you something. What it is? I said, why did you spend so much of money? Why then? How can we do this? He said, very simple concept. You could have had one blower at the conveyor belt. And if the box was without soap, the box would have blown away. And that was the solution for it. So you could have invested just some thousands on that, but you have invested crores. Matter is over. Look at the thinking. That is where whenever you get a problem, my dear students, think creatively. There is always a solution for it. There is always something new to it. Don't look at the problem the way everybody looks at it. Can there be another angle? Can we think something different? Can we talk to our seniors and look into that what can be done? Don't think that whatever you are thinking is always correct. Maybe you will go wrong. If you can think like this, I'm sure that your business will never get hampered. That is what he is trying to say, that you have to be smart, you have to be futuristic, you have to be tech savvy and believe in your idea that it will work. And then if it is having a business potential, definitely it will work. So I think I have spoken enough and over to the MC. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity and hope so that we get some good ideas out of this conference. Thank you very much and my pranams.
Thank you, sir. It was very interesting to hear you. You have brought out the significance of this event at the pandemic situation with great examples from real-time situation. The various dimensions of the technology and business as a challenge for the entrepreneurs and especially the budding entrepreneurs. You have motivated the young minds in developing ideas and their implementation. Students have to reimagine new future and abundant opportunities should be explored. The role of efforts, energy, and creativity to be an entrepreneur. Thank you for such a wonderful speech, sir. Thank you so much once again. Moving on to the speaker of today's session, Dr. Nancy Juneja, founder and CEO, Reva, co-founder, Mentor X, vice president, co-founder, Mentor X, vice president, National Child and Women Development Council, would be addressing on the topic, the SWOT analysis, assessing the B plan. I request Mr. Nikhil MS, Assistant Professor, School of Commerce, Jain Deemed to be University, to introduce Dr. Nancy Juneja to the audience. Over to you, Mr. Nikhil.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Nancy Juneja, founder director of RevUp Life Skills and co-founder of Mentor X. She is the one who co-founded Mentor X with a global vision to bring mentors and mentees together to address long-standing needs and providing skill development and hand-holding for students, startups, partners, investors, financiers, SMEs, entrepreneurs, businesses, professionals, and corporate. Now, MentorX is in India, Australia, Mauritius, South Africa, Fiji, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Nepal, Vietnam, Singapore, and 25 other countries. Dr. Nancy Juneja conferred with the highest civilian honor, the Karmavir Chakra, by United Nations in Congo. Born and raised in an educational family, running schools and boarding hostels since 3 decades. An educationist, highly acclaimed success coach, and leadership mentor sought out by numerous educational institutes, corporate and industries pan India. She holds a bachelor degree in business administration from Delhi University, post-graduation in international marketing from Delhi School of Economics, B.Ed from Kurukshetra University. With 20 plus years of hands-on experience in key performance areas like management, administration, manufacturing, education, mentoring entrepreneurs, corporate employees, coaching startups, and providing quality skill education to the individuals, communities, she served the society with twin motive of providing skill development and research in rural and urban India and setting leadership modules for communities and individuals. A peak performance mentor with 20 plus years of experience and in demand people transformation coach, leadership mentor with the knack of sensing audience needs and latest business priorities. She delivered multiple projects on success spanning breakthrough and adaptive training for global leaders, diverse businesses, startups, education institutes, and NGOs. She is a keen observer and approachable leader with expertise to provide constructive feedback, motivate and mobilize teams, and harness potential among the candidates. Dr. Nancy Juneja has been a wonderful and successful person with the following achievements. She started REX, she got honored with REX Karmavir Chakra from United Nations, appointed as National Vice President at National Child and Women Development Council, honored as Brand India Women in Business 2021 by Global Council for Promotion of International Trade, facilitated by Women Association of Small and Medium Enterprises for contribution in mentoring startups, honored by Indo-Canadian Arts and Culture Initiative at the 7th Global Gala Women Awards 2021 for contribution towards women empowerment, honored as the jury and chief guest at the Ideathon Business Plan Competition 2021 hosted by CT University, honored as the Awesome Woman 2020 by Man Mahila Ka on Association of International Women's Day. These are just an examples of 100 plus awards and achievements that Dr. Nancy Juneja has secured. It is a privilege to have you on board, ma'am. And for the information of all the audience, it's dear Nancy ma'am's birthday today. The entire deemed to be university wishes you a happy birthday, ma'am. God bless you, and over to you, ma'am.
Wonderful, wonderful. What a terrific start to the D-Day. It is said your birthday is a day where you are born, and two things, and when you discover why you're born. So trust me, I have discovered that I have been born, and this karma is for youth empowerment. 18 years, more than 18 years in education, empowerment, universities, schools, and corporates. It has been a terrific journey, and it is because of the trust and love of all the wonderful people across India and across the world. And trust me, receiving blessings and doing what you belong to at the beginning of the day is really amazing. So I, with folded hands, pay gratitude to the Jain University, Bangalore. It has been really an amazing to be here and to witness the golden nuggets that has been just shared, by the director, Sir Dr. Dinesh. I mean, trust me, he made me go back to my school days, campus to corporate days, when I used to make notes that what to do while starting a B plan, or probably when venturing into an entrepreneurship journey. And I mean, if sir is here, due regard to him, that today I was paying gratitude of my deep roots, probably from the education sector, or probably from the experience I had when I was listening to him. So a round of applause for all the management, faculty, and all the concerted efforts of Jain University, who is doing such a wonderful two-day conclave, for the budding students, for the budding youth, for the budding entrepreneurs. We all say startup culture, entrepreneurship, and business plan, business word. These all are jazz words. But as rightly said by Dr. Dinesh also, frankly, these are just the jazz words. And trust me, it takes a toll of success, hard work, efforts, patience, perseverance, and so much more behind what all you hear here. I mean, the fancy introduction that you just heard, and all the fleet of the awards. Trust me, all this comes. Yes, all this comes. You earn it for yourself, but it comes only after your trial and error methods that you'll be doing in conducting, only after you show up to the word, only after you make your presence felt in the word. This is a journey of person to personality. This is a journey of nobody to somebody. And this is a journey of, can I to I can. So if you are here, each of the word, in the time given to me, will be definitely a lovely experience for you, not just to hear. Even if one student is a change maker after this session, my job is done. Because trust me, speaking is easy, but hearing and imbibing by it is very difficult. There are two things today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in the house, with due respect to all the learners here. I mean, there are two things. This is like gaining knowledge that we all are doing since ages, and one is adapting knowledge. Acquiring knowledge is one thing. We all, with the click of button today, the Google is right there at our service. And, everything is under you. All the ideas, all the conceptions, all the B plans. But who makes the difference? Who is the gold digger? Who is the change maker? Every 7-8 years, trust me, like to all the esteemed faculty members of the university or the students, there comes 10 to 15 names, in the decade, who are startups, who are unicorn. I mean, we all know now the case study of Sundar Pichai. We know Indra Nui. We know J.K. Rowlings. We know Tilak Mehta. I mean, I'm sure you must be knowing all of this. And if not, you need to make the notes and probably, watch the TEDx of all these afterwards, the autobiography of all these afterwards. So when we talk about business, when we talk about entrepreneurship, when we talk about any of the idea and conception, we need to be surrounded by our idols. And, we need not to be the mirror image of anyone, not at all. I have to be myself, in a complex world today. It is very difficult to be simple, isn't it? Sometimes the word is so complex that we want to be like someone with the outside pressure, social media, unicorns, the media bites of the startup success. They will not feature the failures and the hardship. They will feature some of the success, 1 in billion. But there is much that you heard in today's opening session. There is much you will be hearing today. And definitely this is a golden nugget and a lifetime changing moment for the people who want to make a difference. Trust me, there are people who will make the presence happen in few years. Trust me, in this Zoom room, I mean, there are so many videos open. You're seeing who are making their presence happen. A very simple example, and who are not making their presence happen. So you just need to go to the flip side. What I can do to make an edge, what I can do to be a front runner, what I can do to be an influencer. There is never a competition with anybody in the world, never at all. It is just the competition from your own previous self, what you were and how you're improving day by day. Today, talking about business, I'll definitely take 2 minutes to take you back, probably to the last 18 months. We all, March 2019, 2020, we were all, living in a set pattern. Kids are going to school, students are going to universities, business houses are running very well. There was just option A and we were sticking to it. We all know what happened with us. But we came out with flying colors, isn't it? If option A didn't work in business, we were ready with option B. If option B didn't work, we were ready with option C. Trust me, the versatility in business and entrepreneurship that I've witnessed myself, even from education industry in this past 18 months, it was something, an experience which I might not have seen in a decade. Coming from, the family who's running education institutions since almost 30 years, I have seen how it takes time to get a change in even in education industry. But overnight, we all were doing it. Overnight, we made changes. And we were torch bearers, all the educators and academicians here, like hats off to them, who made the knowledge imparted to the students, sitting there. Not just education, IT, pharmaceuticals, artificial intelligence, each and every field you see, agriculture, though we talk about industry 4.0, but now we knew that what we were actually implementing, isn't it? And we were able to do that. I mean, this is one period when we have seen all the 6 cycles, recession, boom, and, coming again, bouncing back. And then, some industries coming up like, with the creative business plans and, capturing the whole economy. We have seen everything, all the stages of the economic cycle in this thing. So let's see how it all starts. I mean, you all definitely would be doing something or the other in some time. I ask you with a raise of hand, how many of you want to be businessmen, businesswomen? How many of you want to be an entrepreneur? Just a raise of hand or probably in a chat, just bring it on, wonderful. Let it go on. I just need from you 100% energy, and trust me, this will be a life-changing experience for you. Wow. So I see a lot of hand raised. Trust me, whether you do a job, whether you are in entrepreneurship, whether you are a self-employed or a professional, you need to have an entrepreneurship mind at some point of time. So, having an entrepreneurship mind is different. So now we are thinking how to have that entrepreneurship mind, how to discover a business plan revolving, how to discover my idea and how it will turn into action. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be sharing a quick slide, though I made for you much, but I feel I have to just show a wonderful slide to you. And yes, I ask everyone if it is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Wonderful. So, you're welcoming to the biz world. It is a new age era of entrepreneurship. If time allows, you've already, shown a glorious journey of my life. But trust me, I was a person who was coming from a family who's running a very well-established business empire. And as Dr. Dinesh said, there was 2 options. My father told me to probably make an office and sit right there. And there were 3, they were the options that, as he said, that, okay, let me be 55, 60, and let me just roam around the world, do a startup, get into collaborations, get into partnership. And probably afterwards, I will see what I have to do. I have to sit and, run this because it is already running. I need to have my own legacy. So that was the difference. And, thanks to him that he has, raised the bar and set the momentum. So while everyone raised hand, like who is an entrepreneur? What is entrepreneurship? Definitely now you know that entrepreneurship, the thumbs rule today is innovate or evaporate. Entrepreneurship is someone who take risk, but in today's time, even if you are in 30 years in business, 20 years in business, if you're not innovating, if you're not discovering and accessing your business plan, you are not there. I mean, you need to make an edge. So while the digital economy has opened, and definitely it has told us to rethink, revamp all the opportunities, reimagine the worldwide opportunities sitting at one corner. I'm in Delhi, and trust me, today I'm in Bangalore. Like this, the way you heard in intro, Mentor Hex has opened office in 65 countries just in the lockdown. So frankly, for us, it was unlocking the opportunities. We were adapting to the transforming world. Coming to the business plan, we'll just skip some of these. I will definitely, come to all this, but it all starts with an idea, something that you believe in, something that you can have a confidence in yourself, and you can explain first to your parents, your people who you confide with, your mentors, your peers. If you are confident in your idea, only then you can think upon to do something. And once you have an idea, as sir said, this is the time to replace I from we. This is the time to replace ego from teamwork. This is a time, really, we don't need word leaders independently. We need collaborators. We need bright minds coming together. So definitely we need a team. Then we think upon what is the business model. Then we think upon how I do a business plan. We all think upon that, okay, I am a startup, but then let's think of the funding. Let's go to the investors. No, not at all. First, be confident in your skin. Access your own business plan. Access your SWOT analysis. What is my strength? I mean, what is my weakness? And we'll be just coming to that. This is little upon the new norm. So we will be definitely doing all this too. I will definitely say, to create a sustainable business, we need to have a power to create a base for our business. And so we need to research, we need to do R&D of our idea, that what is the demand and supply? What is the gap between the demand and supply in the market of any idea I have? Is it needed or not? And if it is needed, what is the right time to launch it? So whether I'm thinking to launch it at this point of time, and I'm just thinking and thinking until the time the competitors are coming up. So we need to be innovative in the entrepreneurship. So it is just not the entrepreneurship, it is the innovation which is coming along. And while we talk about innovation, definitely, your own creativity. While you have an idea, how to definitely, derive the business plan. I mean, giving 100% in whatever you're doing. Trust me, guys, I mean, to all due respect to all the girls and the boys and the budding startup entrepreneurs, we will today discuss upon business idea. You heard upon, business plan. You will hear upon even how to get into the right teamwork or the business partnership, or how to create a business environment. But just focus on the idea and try to convert it into the action within the given period of time. Whatever action plan you have, you need to write, what is my action plan? What? How I will do it? How? And when? Till when? You need to put a date on it. It never has to be a lagging process. Only then it becomes a goal for you. Only then it becomes an aim for you. So please, if you're jotting down, you need to have an action plan. What, how, when? And if you need to, talk to the mentors for this field, you need to see yourself how to approach them. This is an era when it is just a click of button. You can reach everyone. You can go for virtual internships. I mean, I ask all of you to introspect. How many of you in this period have letter of recommendations? How many of you have done virtual internship? How many of you have taken an effort to go to a mentor and tell that this is my idea, I want to come with it? How many of you have done an R&D research and, in the market, that whether it is sustainable or not? If not, what are we doing? And if yes, you are on the right track. You are on the right track. So, for everyone out here, I'll say the more you tell yourself your idea, the more you tell your brain to work. And the more you tell to others, the more you will get confident. So talk to people. Talk to people about your idea. Share yourself. Being locked, now the word is opening up, definitely, but being locked in one room and conducting all your virtual businesses from there, still you have the power to instill energy and connect, the right connect all over, because one word, one family. Now that is the rule today. I mean, who knew that I would be in top 100 business women in the whole world? I never knew and imagined it. but it was 10x growth in the lockdown. And how it happened, definitely we'll be sharing that. So while we talk upon all this, now it is innovate or evaporate. I will definitely shift to the business plan. I've already discussed upon the cycle. You have known about my journey, and these are some of the testimonies, you can say, which landed up in a book, which is the bestseller now. It has been a long journey. How we started the business idea and business plan, definitely we'll come back to you again and tell you how we opened offices in 65 countries. But trust me, it all starts with business plan. It never is a fluke that will work. It definitely has to start with your summary. What is the idea that I have to zero upon? And definitely once I know it, I need to be definitely clear about my mission and vision. We should not just shake it up, our mission and vision, just because anybody else is coming and suggesting us something. We can hear to everyone, but we need to make the wise decision our own self. So, that is very much needed. So when you do market research, when you do a survey, when you probably have a questionnaires, when you plan to, test it in your rural area, 3-tier industry, 2-tier industry, then you see what are the implication of my business plan, how I do it, what is the operation plan, how feasible it is. And the last thing will come to the financial plan. In today's world, empty pockets never held anyone back. Please note, empty pockets never held anyone back. Empty head and empty heart did that. So if you have an idea today and if you don't have money, still you can be the next unicorn. You can be the next startup, the glorious startup. But you need to just have the idea here and a big heart to share your idea with the world. The guts have to be there. So while you see these companies, I want you to do a case study after this conclave, that all these, 6 up, be it Airbnb, Instagram, YouTube, what happened in the lockdown for all this? There's a booming thing. And what happened, which all the companies were drooped down. So while you are, dwelling on your business idea, you need to see what is the market trend, what has happened in the past and how I need to go it. So, you need to see in the business plan, what is your strength? Your timing to launch can be your strength. Your team is your strength. Definitely, we've given the percentage for it. Your business model, your idea, how you believe in it, that is your strength. So all of these are the top 5 factors, which is, which we have done a research for success in almost 200 companies. Though we have, time constraint now, I will definitely, with due respect to everyone, I will definitely tell you to make today your action plan. What have we did today? What, how, when? And second, your SWOT analysis. You need to see just yourself. Apart from the business plan, what is my strength? What I am good at? So when I started RevUp Life Skills Unit in MentorX, I was like good in academics, in education, in administration, PR, skill building. And I thought, what is my niche? And then I started presenting my papers in IIT, which made me probably a name in life skills all over the world. So just see upon your strength, then probably your weakness, where I can improve. Talking about me, there was a lot to do in our research and development. I mean, it is easy to give a lecture today because it has been 18 years of it has been 18 years of concerted efforts. But when you start, it is not a free luncheon. It is like wow journey, which will definitely give you a thunderous applause. You will be on the other side and people will be listening to you. But behind all that you need to grab opportunities, keep grabbing, like the session today. The people who grabbed this opportunity, you have such a wonderful chance to receive golden nuggets from all the mentors from all in the 2 days. You need to see what is there. So my humble request to you, as we call off, at the end of the session, I'll definitely give you 3 takeaways. 1, make an action plan. What, how, when, and start working on it. Second, simple thing, make a SWOT analysis. The business plan will come later. First, let us be clear upon our perception. What are we? Why we are doing it? What is the trigger behind this idea? Are we doing it just as a fun, just to be featured as a startup? Or are we doing it because we see the sustainability in the market? So, we need to ask all these questions to ourselves. And third, just ask a simple question to yourself today. Do you live day by design or day by default? Now it is a golden nugget again. Do you live day by design or day by default? So now what I mean to say is, now day by design is like, it has happened in the lockdown that we just, wake up and just go, either, the day run you or either you run the day. So either go with the flow. So whatever is coming day by default is there, and you realize at 9 p.m. that I was just binging and watching the Netflix series and doing nothing. And second is day by design. When you do things to do, when you plan your things to do, when you access and write your things done at night. Now, this is day by design. Because once you will design, you're talking about entrepreneurship, when you're talking about business plan, you're talking about creativity, networking, you're talking about all these words. So you need to design your day. When I'll network, when I will mail, when I'll talk to my people, what is my growth? Leave 5 years growth. There used to be a question in interview, how you see yourself 5 years from now. Just leave 5 years, guys. We don't know where we stand 12 p.m. today because the knowledge we have is obsolete. We live in such a volatile environment today that we need to be so updated. And for that, you need to just usher, into new age entrepreneurship and business with your skill set. We'll definitely request the Jain University to conduct another session for the skill set, because this is what is required when you conduct any business plan. This is what is required when you really want to make a difference, because today is the time, definitely we are on verge of end of this year, but it is a lot of competition. We need to learn to unlearn. We need to unlearn to learn, and so many things. So trust me, it is like looking beyond to find opportunities in crisis. You are an entrepreneur today if you have taken the opportunity from this 2 days. If you will probably write testimonials to the mentors whoever have addressed you in 2 years, whom if you will reach to your management to probably again arrange the session, or you're after them to that I have to be there. So there are many things definitely I'll say to be covered, but I'll just say again, there is a very, very thin line between acquiring knowledge. You've been acquiring knowledge from wonderful speakers all the 2 days, but gaining knowledge, acquiring knowledge is one way. Adapting knowledge, taking action. Please remember to do the 3 things and come back to your mentors, come back to your university. You can connect anytime to us. We all are there for you, and you're lucky people. I mean, we never had that environment that we were just able to, talk to our mentors in another 2 minutes. But now you are face to face and you can see their journey. You can see their failures, their threat, and you can, see that I don't repeat this mistake in my business plan. And you can see guidance there. So I feel, youth are the nation builders. You are the nation builders. You will be the next unicorn. And India is a pride, wonderful country who is bringing up wow people. I had many case studies to be covered, but surely for the next time, I'll share my presentation to the university so that they can pass on to the keen students who want to make the difference. And I'll say again, dare to be different, dare to be true. There is no fun to be a copy. There is no fun to be a copy. Do not walk if you can fly. So just believe in yourself, keep imagining, keep sharing your ideas. The word is there to help you out. The word is there to put a pat on your back and say that, yes, I can invest in you. I am with you. And that one thing will take you a leap from where you are today and from where you wish to be. So thank you so much, for giving me time. I mean, I've definitely been rushing through, but I feel there's so much knowledge that these treasures should have that we missed at our time. Trust me, wherever we are today, I am today, I owe to my mentors, my gurus, my universities who are still there standing with me. And whatever you can do, being in the campus, please, please, please feel that gratitude to your mentors. Be thankful to your university for doing all this for you, and capitalize on action. You need to be a massive action taker. So all the best to all of you for the bright and wonderful future. I sign off here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was such a wonderful session listening to you in our conference. You call for the budding entrepreneurs to be a competitors within self, how to discover idea and implement it. Innovate or evaporate is the mantra in the current business scenario. The need for creating business plan, pros and cons of innovation and creativity, during the business plan. That is when we are deriving the business plan. You have given an overview of different things which is required for the entrepreneurs, especially the budding entrepreneurs. And the three takeaways from your session is make an action plan, the simple thing of SWOT analysis, and asking question for self, that is day by design or day by default. It was such an interesting session. Now we are open for questions. I request the audience, the participants, to ask the questions in the chat box. You can put your questions in the chat box. You can post your questions in the chat box. Meanwhile, I request all to switch on your videos for the photography. Request all to switch on your videos for the photography. The questions can be posted in the chat box. It is enabled. You can turn on your videos. Ma'am, I have a question for you from myself. I just wanted to ask, what would be your suggestion for the budding entrepreneurs when we talk about women entrepreneurs? Because we hear a lot, and we also have a lot of debates on who has to be given priority and who can do a great job. So can you throw some light on this from your experience?
Surely, this is really a wonderful question from your side. Thank you so much. And with due respect to all the women and budding entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, I'll take pride in answering this. So, I'll say there are three factors which define women entrepreneurship. I'll again say that today we don't talk about men entrepreneurship anytime, and why so much importance is given on women empowerment, women entrepreneurship, because women are already in power. So when we say empower, it is I am the power. So frankly, to all the girls and women here, you are the power within yourself. I mean, being the nurturer yourself, you are a 360 degree who is, giving a miracle and who will raise the entire family, the entire nation, who is binding everyone. So what about binding your own passions? What about making your own priorities? So when we talk about and debate about what is important in females' life, I mean, definitely no question asked about femininity and women empowerment. Still in 21st century, also in 2021, and we are talking about how to prioritize in women entrepreneurship. So I feel there are three factors: marriage, mobility, and maternity, which will definitely affect the career choices and the priorities of each and every female to come. But it is a very thin line between your passion and profession. It is a very thin line to make your own individuality. I being the mother of two beautiful souls, I started my journey 18 years ago when they were not there. And when they were there, definitely they are my priorities. Everyone is priorities, but I take my career as my third baby. The way I give the time to my biological kids, I give time to my karmic connection too, and that is my career. So you need to give the priorities yourself. The tip probably I've given to the students, day by design and day by default, is the key to all the female. I'll just tell to each and every one, all the women here, entrepreneurs, that once you are happy, once you are agile, once you are energetic, only then you can keep anyone happy around. Only then you can, infuse energy in your environment. Only then you can stand for yourself. But when you are not happy yourself, how can you ever think of making your child, your husband, your family, your colleagues, even your parents happy? So trust me, it all starts with self-love. Whether it is women, whether it is men, it all starts with self-love. Self-love and then self-empowerment. Everything will just come unfold. So entrepreneurship is a wonderful, glorious journey. Let's just take one step, stick to it, and goes to the second. And once you make a tribe, there is a huge following, who is getting inspired by you somewhere. You don't know, somewhere someone will be inspired by you. So please be an example for everyone, whether you're a women or a men entrepreneur. I am talking here about really, creating a generation of wonderful next generation, I'll say business leaders who are standing on their feet, not thinking about what they got, in their destiny, not thinking what they got from the heritage, not thinking what they got from their ancestors, thinking what they have with it, their skills, and how I can make my skills work for myself. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to the next question. A question from Ramya. She is asking, ma'am, in New Companies Act 2013, they have made a new rule as a women director is must in every company. What would you like to add a word for this? She is asking about, it is in the chat box. She says that Companies Act 2013, they have made a new rule as a women director is must in every company. And what would you like to add a word for this?
So definitely that's true. And if you see, according to the statistics, not just India, like all the overseas, definitely, it is good to say that, yes, we should have a women director. But if you see the percentage in real scenario, the CEO position that woman is holding is just not barely 30%. So when I give a word, I give it all the passion here, and I give it all the knowledge and statistics. We want women to be in the top hierarchy. We don't want women just to be a subordinate or a supporting partner in the company. Definitely, they need to have, the positions like CEO, directors, and according to the rule, very well appreciated. It is the need of the hour. Because trust me, 18 months have shown how women can multitask. Can ever we imagine a woman running the show, working from home, and the school is also at home, managing not just the family members, managing the family, managing the kids, and managing her own show, being there and still having a sunshine smile on her face, still, looking for her fundings, fighting with her challenges and all the things that comes with the woman entrepreneurship. That is a package I call, which comes with women entrepreneurship, to make people, society feel that if I'm a director, if I'm a CEO, yes, I can take care of it. So, take me as a CEO first, and then probably as a homemaker and a mother first. So that is for the society, because the biggest challenge is for society to accept, even if you're a director, the society to accept that whether she'll be able to do it. She has already a truckload of responsibilities. So can she find the thin balance? Is she the right candidate for the position? Does she deserve the same salary as given to the male counterpart? So all these things come with it. So, once you ask these questions, it comes from the bottom of the heart. And I wish each of the women here becomes the director of the company, become the founding, member, and the person who can, give voice to the opinion, and her presence is felt. So that is why probably the rule is being made.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think with this, we'll end the query section of the first speaker. A heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am, for spending your valuable time with us today. Thank you so much once again. We have the next speaker for the session. We have the next speaker for the session, Dr. Kapali P Subramanian. He would be addressing on the topic Advantage Startup Building Legitimacy. May I request Mr. Nandan R. Naresh, Assistant Professor, School of Commerce, Jain Dame to be University, to introduce Dr. Kapali P Subramanian to the audience. Over to you, Naresh, sir.
Very good morning to all. Today I feel privileged to welcome Dr. Kapali P Subramanian. Dr. Kapali P Subramanian has a very distinguished profile, which motivates many young minds. Dr. Kapali P Subramanian is an eminent business strategy trainer, researcher, consultant, and coach. Doctor is currently Faculty of Business Studies, Arab Open University, Muscat, Oman, and also Adjunct Professor at VIT University, India. Dr. Kapali P Subramanian, founder of International Theory Building Research Forum, and also Doctor is involved in promoting a number of startups in Asia through advising and mentoring. Presently, Sir has invested in few startups, connected few other startups with Gulf and Southeast Asian markets. Dr. Kapali P Subramanian has trained more than 1,000 business leaders, entrepreneurs, executives in the field of strategy, innovation, and digital business leadership. Doctor is a member of various professional communities, which includes Chartered Management Institute, UK, British Academy of Management, UK, Academy of Management, US, and Indian Society of Training and Development. Doctor is involved in building a robust startup ecosystem in South Tamil Nadu, India, in collaboration with Manunmuniam Sundarnar University and also Anna University. Here are a few awards received by Dr. Kapali P Subramanian. He has been awarded Best Employee Award from the Ministry of Manpower, Sultanate of Oman. He is actually the first expatriate to receive such a kind of award from the institution. Sir has been awarded Best Professor in Management Studies as part of Oman Innovation Leadership Awards 2021, and many more are there actually. And at this particular time, we are glad to welcome you, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, dear. Wonderful. I'm really delighted and excited to be part of this event, which is 2-day virtual global entrepreneurship conclave, day 2, design, D3, DQ, you call it as define, design, and dazzle. Fantastic. And I'm really thankful to Jain University and the Jain School of Commerce for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Particular thanks to Dr. Renu. When she approached me for a small talk during this conference, I was delighted because I'm traveling with Jain University for the last 1.5 years in various capacities, part of their various initiatives. Thank you very much, and really delighted to meet 129 plus participants. And I think it is streamed on YouTube Live, I believe. So really happy to be part of that. And particularly I'm happy to hear Professor Dinesh and Dr. Nancy for their wonderful, inspiring, empowering, educating thoughts. Really, I should say that really I got energized by their thoughts, and I'm going to take few leaves from their golden nuggets, so to say, to build my case. Today, I know I'm meeting a lot of young potential startup founders or startup founders already. So I'm going to share some of my basic experience. As introduced, I am a researcher in the space of business strategy, business innovation, digital transformation, digital business leadership, and also I am in the space of startup building ecosystems, mentoring and advising startups, also investing in startups and helping them to grow internationally, globally, by taking them to this part of the world where I am from. I am basically from Oman with Arab Open University, which is located in Muscat. And our university is present in 9 different countries with 30,000 plus students. So with that, let me start my presentation. Just give me a minute. I will. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. You can make it full screen.
Great, great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So when Dr. Renu approached me for a topic, so I was just reflecting on what should I share with my fellow colleagues and fellow learners in the space of startup. So I thought, let me take a cue from my recent experience and share something on advantage startup building legitimacy. So recently, as I was telling you, I'm investing in startups and mentoring startups, advising startups, training startups. So I came across a recent personal experience in 2021. Particularly, before going into this, let me take a leaf out of Professor Dinesh's call that this century, this decade is going to be really exciting for all startups, provided we get ready for that. I always say luck is nothing but an opportunity meets the preparedness. So the first question is, we need to get prepared. When the opportunity knocks, we should grab it. So therefore, I thank Professor Dinesh for highlighting that this decade is going to be, we are starting a new decade, even though we enter into 2022, but still because of the COVID, we say post-COVID, so a decade. And also a very interesting thing, the young startup founders need to understand is this century belongs to startup founders. The last, few centuries was crafted by many people, but this century is going to be crafted by startup founders. And there are a lot of evidence for that. So you are going to be a lucky group of young people who is going to travel for the next 70s, 80 years, and who is going to change this world. And very interestingly, many research studies suggest that the next 20 years, the world is going to see a kind of transformation which we have not seen in the years before. So therefore, any change brings in new opportunities. So get ready and grab it. So this is my first. And secondly, when you look at this world, today's world, it is characterized by differently. We call it as innovation economy. Dr. Nancy rightly put it, this is an innovation economy. So innovation is going to play a very critical role. That is why I said this century belongs to startup founders, because by default, they need to be innovators. There is no other choice for them. Secondly, we see a very great shift towards Asia. And I hope there are a number of people participating here are from Asia. When we look at the history, 19th century belonged to Europe. All the big things happened in Europe. So therefore, the center of attraction was Europe. 20th century, it shifted to Americas. And this century, believe my dear friends, this is going to be an Asian century. Already there are a lot of signals, signs, and indicators that this century is going to be an Asian century. Naturally, two countries are going to play a very important role along with other countries in Asia, which are China and India. And we have to, we need to understand that China is growing at a much faster rate, and therefore India has a greater chance. And COVID has reinforced that, because now the global supply chains are going to be redefined, and global supply chains are going to be redefined as regional supply chains. And very importantly, India is a soft power, which means that we are friendly with all the countries in the world. Therefore, India is in an advantageous position, which means the world looks at India for more. A recent evidence is they have formed, globally they have formed a forum called Quad, where India, Australia, Japan, and US are coming together to form the four important, a group of countries which is going to redefine the world. So therefore, these are the opportunities in the 21st century, and you are prime, my dear friends. You are young, ready to learn, because as Dr. Nancy rightly pointed out, the people who have joined in this platform itself is a sign that you are ready to learn, ready to unlearn, ready to relearn. This should be your mantra. Because as an academic, I always believe, and I always tell my people that learning is the only way we can face the future. Because everything else will change. Keep the continuous learning as your core asset. So with that, let me share my personal experience. In 2021, during COVID, I was, it's one thing, there are a lot of challenges, but one good thing happened during COVID is we were able to connect. As Dr. Nancy rightly pointed out, during COVID, she had expanded her business into many countries. I wish her all the very best. And this she converted into an opportunity. So the same thing happened for many of us. So this 2021, we had an opportunity to connect with people across the world, and of course, with India. So what happened as an investor, in the capacity of an investor, I was just talking to various angel networks, and one of the angel network is from south of Tamil Nadu. And we were focusing on, because we wanted to help support tier 2, tier 3, startups, because a lot of support system available for startups in cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, and so on and so forth. So we said that we will focus on the tier 2, tier 3. Like, for example, places like Coimbatore, places like Madurai, places like Tirunelveli, Tiruchi, and so on and so forth from Tamil Nadu. Same thing is happening across India, I believe. So I am part of that south of, the Tamil Nadu-based angel network. So we were, looking at a program called Startup Tamil Nadu, where we called for nominations, and they have to come and pitch, and we promised a good sum of, investment in their startups. So 100+ startups, applied, and shortlisted to 20, and then to 10, and finally this 10 pitched in. And we promised, to invest in 5 startups. We chose, 5 startups to invest in, but only 1 startup got the funding. You know what is the reason? The reason is what we are going to discuss today. Even though it was a good business opportunity, because we said that it's a great start. It's a good startup to invest in, to support, but they did not fulfill what we call it as due diligence, which means as an investor, we have some expectations, and we wanted them to fulfill those expectations in terms of legal formalities, in terms of accounting, in terms of finance, and so on and so forth. But at the end, they said they were not able to fulfill. Therefore, we dropped the idea of investment. So, my dear friends, if you are thinking of starting up something, or if you are already a founder of a startup, you need to keep this in mind. It is not just your idea. It is not just your team. It is beyond that. You have to learn many things to become a successful startup. So I'm going to share one very important thing, which you have to keep in mind right from the beginning, which will help you in answering this question. The question is, why should the world trust you? Why should the investor invest his money? Why should a good resource, as Professor Dinesh rightly said, hire the right people? Why should the right people join you? Why should the customer buy from you? So I'm just, when this question, so why should at the again center is, why should the world trust you? So here I'm trying to approach this from my strategy perspective. In strategy, we always say stakeholders are very important. Gone are the days where the company is focusing on shareholder. But today, the stakeholder is the mantra. We all know stakeholders consist of customers, employees, investors, government, society, and so on and so forth. So how to build trust with all these stakeholders so that they entrust their resources? So the key word is resources. As Dr. Dinesh rightly mentioned, today there is no dearth of money, dearth of ideas, dearth of good startups, good team. When I say good, how that good is qualified is whether it's a trustworthy team. So how you can show your trustworthiness to the world? This is the fundamental focal question. So let's try to explore what theory suggests you. I am a strong believer of theory. My dear friends, I want to make a call here. As mentioned, I am I'm the founder of International Theory Building Research Forum. I've interacted with thousands and thousands of business leaders and professionals and practitioners. Many of them, they have a notion that theory is different and practice is different. My dear friends, here I want to use this platform to make a call. Theory comes from practice, my dear friends. Theory is nothing but synthesis of practice. If you want to depend only on our practice, it will take years to learn anything. So why do you go to a university? Why do you go to an executive education program where the experience of many companies and many individuals are synthesized and brought to you in a nutshell as a golden nugget? So why should I miss? So let's not reinvent the wheel. We'll start from there and build new things. That is why I say theory building, right? So I'm going to take a cue from that. So I'm going to bring you certain theories which are going to help you in understanding this philosophy of legitimacy, and which is going to help you how to build trust for your startup. Okay, so let's start the journey. So legitimacy, according to our research, it suggests that it's a crucial resource for new ventures. You know what? One of the statistics suggests many startups will not cross the first year, second year, and third year. Almost 80% of the startups will fail. Only 20%, or putting it other way, only 20% startups survive after 3 years. So the reason is, one of the main reason is resource. And very important to build that resource is legitimacy. So we are going to see, first we are going to see why, and then we are going to talk about what is legitimacy, right? So you have to be very clear. If you want to survive, you have to build legitimacy. And another research suggests that legitimacy can help you in accessing to new markets, accessing to new resources, access to innovation, and so on and so forth. So legitimacy is very critical for any startup. So legitimacy is a resource which can give you capital, because when you talk about capital, we talk about financial capital, we talk about intellectual capital, we talk about social capital, we talk about cultural capital, technology capital, and so on and so forth. So all these things can be leveraged when you build legitimacy. And it is the primary factor that motivates institutions or external actors to access to resource. So one thing is very clear, my dear friends. Legitimacy will give you, when you build legitimacy, it gives you resources. Resources gives you growth, help you to survive and grow. And that growth will again give you new resources, additional resources, and this gives you a positive cycle. Therefore, the focus should be on how to build legitimacy, how to communicate legitimacy. So what is legitimacy? The legitimacy is nothing but it's a perception of your stakeholders that you are an appropriate organization. You are a fit in many ways. For example, for a customer, your product is a fit. For an investor, your company is a fit so that I can invest, I can grow, right? For society, you are a fit because you are following rules and regulations. So in the eyes of the stakeholder, you need to be legitimate, which means, again, going back to theories and strategy, we say stakeholder expectations and management. My dear friends, when you are analyzing, as Dr. Nancy rightly mentioned during a SWOT analysis, you need to start with analysis. Any strategy starts with analysis, where you need to understand what is the external environment, what is the internal environment. Particularly, you need to understand what are the stakeholder expectations. My dear friends, your stakeholder, your startup, the very purpose of startup is to create value. Value for whom? Value for the stakeholders. Primarily for you, primarily for the customers, primarily for the supplier, primarily for the investor, and so on and so forth. So you are a part of a social system where many people are supporting you. Therefore, it is your responsibility to build trust in the form of satisfying their expectations. So when you satisfy the expectations or show some signs that you can satisfy their expectations, they are ready to support you in terms of providing you the necessary resources, in terms of financial resources, in terms of human resources. When you want a good team, right, they should first feel that, yes, here is a startup where I can go with them so that they can fulfill my expectations. So the first and foremost thing as a founder of a startup is try to understand the expectations of the stakeholders. That's very important thing. And what is legitimacy? Again, one more view is it is satisfying, or your startup should represent the interests, values, and beliefs of the social system in which you operate. Whether it is values of the society, beliefs of the society, interest of the stakeholders, interests of the customer, interest of the shareholder, and so on and so forth. So another way of looking at legitimacy is whether your value systems and the society's value systems are aligning. So you need to understand that. Let me give an example. Later, I'm going to give you an example. Let me give an example. When you are a startup founder, right, one of the expectations of the investor is how much skin you are putting in the game, in the sense that whether you are investing your own hard-earned money, if you are a student startup, whether you are able to put your heart and soul into it, so whether you are able to communicate that to the stakeholder. That's very important. How passionate you are, how committed you are, right? You can say that I don't have experience, never mind. But you can show in other forms, like your commitment, your passion. So this is very important. So whether your startup is in congruence with the world. Let me give you, my dear friends, one more important thought. Today, the world is moving towards a very difficult pace. I'm not talking about COVID, my dear friends. Recently, there was a big conference happened in Glasgow, UK. It is called COP26, COP26. COP26 is a conference on climate change. My dear friends, the world is going through a very difficult pace. They say that next 50 years is going to be very, very critical. On one side, we are talking about startups, growth. On the other side, we are talking about whether the world can sustain all these things. Therefore, the world expects systems, startups, which can align with these situations. The major situations which we summarize into theoretically, we call it as triple bottom line, which is we have to make profit, we have to care about planet, we have to care about people, my dear friends. So whether your startup, is addressing all these issues, yes, you are making profit. Whether you are making profit without damaging the planet, or or whether it enhances the planet. The third element is how this is going to be useful to the society in terms of creating jobs, in terms of making the society better. So these are the expectations of the social systems, whether you are aligning with them. So if you're aligned with that, naturally the resources will pour in, my dear friends. In COP26, they're talking about trillions of dollars, not millions or billions. Trillions of dollars are going to be pumped in for making this planet more sustainable. So therefore, if the world is moving towards sustainability, whether your startup is thinking about that, these are some of the questions the stakeholders will rise to make you legitimate, right? So keep that in mind. And one more way of building your legitimacy is whether you are competent, whether you are efficient, whether you are effective to deliver what you are promising. Again, I go back to the fundamental question, whether you can be trustable, right? Yes, I trust you because you are a good person, but whether are you really competent to deliver? Are you efficient to deliver? These are the questions they are going to ask to make a judgment about your legitimacy, right? So there was a study conducted by a group of researchers with founders of startups, and they were asked what legitimacy means to you. And very interestingly, few perspectives popped up. One group of people said it's about product or service quality, which means they are trying to satisfy the customers. Another group said, it's all about communication. Another group said it's a positive feedback from the audience, right? But we need to understand, as a startup founder, legitimacy is a multi-dimensional construct. So it has got different dimensions, which we need to understand so that we can build our legitimacy strategically, consciously, so that your stakeholders trust their resources with you. The world will trust you. Okay, so when we look at the four important dimensions of legitimacy, the first one is regulatory, which means you have to abide by all the rules and regulations. This is where my experience, when we did the due diligence of 4 companies tried to do, they were not able to provide the required regulation standards, fulfill the rules and regulations. Second is whether it is valuable, whether your startup is valuable to the society. Now, how it's going to make an impact on the society. Here, I want to remember one of the world's greatest entrepreneur world has ever produced, Steve Jobs. He never talks about money. He always talks about how I can make an impact on this world, how my products can make an impact on this world positively. That was his vision. So how your startup is going to make an impact on this society. And it goes with the values of the society. As I mentioned, if the value of the society is about sustainability, your startup should also align with that. And then the cognitive, which means whether you are able to build some new things like innovation, creativity, invention, building your intellectual properties. And finally, whether you are just following the industry or you are going to be a path breaker in the industry. So by doing all these things, by working on all these dimensions, you can be more legitimate. Okay, so how? The next question is how. So few strategies suggested by research is one is conformance. As I said, follow the rules. Second is select an industry which is viewed by the society as more trustworthy. For example, as I said, today when you talk about anything on sustainability, anything which is going to create value to the society, people are at it. So therefore, look at the industry where you can make more positive impact on this world. And finally, your present day operation should be better than the previous competitors. So you should be different. Now that is what startup is all about, right? And finally, creating of new social context, which is helping a new society. So these are some of the ways by which you can build your legitimacy. And finally, I would like to give you one small case study which reported recently in Harvard Business Review in 2021 May, which is about 3 strategies to convince people that your startup is legitimate. Like this, in this study, they talk about 3 electric car companies from China: NIO, Xpeng, and Li. These are the 3 companies which recently raised within 4 years $7 billion and listed in US. And they say when they compared with, we all know Tesla is the benchmark in electrical vehicle industry, EV industry. So when they compared with Tesla, they did it in a quite shorter time. So the question is how they did it. So they used 3 strategies. Leveraging their existing sources of legitimacy, which means already you have certain capabilities, already you have built something, so leverage on that. For example, these companies, they were in different businesses, so they try to make use of that, the goodwill they have created there, to extend this here. Second one is aligning requirement with norms. As I told you, if the investors require you to put your skin. Suppose if you have money, because in all these 3 cases, they've invested millions themselves before going for further investment, which shows their commitment and passion. And finally, redefining the perceptions and assumptions, which means Tesla has set a benchmark, right? So do we have to stop there? That is these 3 companies asked that. And then they said, no, we are going to go beyond. So they created technologies which are beyond what Tesla is doing. So that brought in a lot of trust towards that company, and the investor supported, the customer supported, the government supported, and the entire society supported. So my dear friends, as the last takeaway, I urge all the entrepreneurs here should see legitimacy building as a key process in venture building, right? As a key strategy in venture building. And it is essential to increase your resource for your growth and acceleration. With that, I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much, my dear friends.
Thank you, sir. Your session has enriched our knowledge on the topic. Any change brings new opportunities, redefining of different supply chain practices and its influence on the opportunities. Be ready to learn and make it our core assets. A question to ponder upon is, why should the world trust us or an individual? Trust factor among the stakeholders is the fundamental aspect. Legitimacy as a crucial resource for new ventures to increase the chance of survival and so on. Social values aligned with the social system apart from interest and beliefs. It was very inspiring to listen to you in this session, sir. Thank you so much for that. Now, I request the participants to post their questions in the chat box. Before that, I would request all of you to switch on your videos for the photography. The link for the feedback form will be sent in the chat box now. You're requested to fill it and submit it by the end of the session. Now, we are open for the queries. You can ask your question. You can post your question in the chat box. So meanwhile, I have a question for you.
Please, Dr. Anand.
Yes, sir. Sir, how do we measure the redefining of perception? Because, when we talk about, perception, a lot of, confusion will be there in terms of, the perceptual differences I'm talking about. Each person or each individual thinks is, or, in his or her own way. So how do we measure it? And if you can give me an example for this, I think I'll be very happy for that.
That's a very complex very difficult question. I understand your question is how to, no, the very way of, the very concept of building legitimacy is to have a positive perception about your startup, right? When I go and invest in a company, I go with certain expectations, right? And when I see some indicate, let me share with you another, I just forgot to, I thought of sharing, but I forgot. Thank you very much for a wonderful question. I am an advisor to a Dubai-based startup, right, which is a deep tech company. And I helped them raise close to $200,000 recently. And I spoke to the investor. I asked him, why did you invest in this startup? I was just very blank, very blunt in asking him, what made you to invest? So what do you perceive? I think this will answer that, right? So what is the one thing? He said simply, after listening to, of course, it went rounds and rounds, many rounds, more than 20 rounds of discussion. After that, he committed. But he said, at the end, all of that said and done, it's all about that individual, right? Whether they are able to deliver, that person is able to deliver what he promises, and their technology in which they are working, how it is aligned with the future of this world. So these are the two important things. As an investor, that was his reply to me. Even I got amazed, because he's investing in a very small, at a very early age. So what made him to invest in that company? He simply said these two things, the person. So that person, now again, I am looking at from that person. That person is able to communicate. Now, listen here. Now, in fact, they did not even meet. All these things happen in Zoom, right? They did not even meet personally. Till now, they haven't met, right? But he's able to understand, appreciate. He's able to form his perception about that company positively. Therefore, that made him to invest, right? So that is what, on the model says. You have to follow the rules, regulations. You have to be creative and innovative. You have to go with the social norms and society where the world is going, right? So all these things adds the element to the perception, to a positive perception. Thank you. I hope I have at least attempted to answer your question.
Yes, sir. I think, 1 minute, sir. The chat is enabled. You can post your questions in the chat box. You can post your queries in the chat box. So there is one question from Mr. Ravichandran. He asked, cross-border exchange of education platform across countries, is it possible?
Very much possible, and it's happening all over. Very much possible. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I think, if we have the question, we'll take it offline, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was our honor and privilege to have you in the session. Thank you so much once again.
All the very best. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. I request all to turn on the video so that we can take the photography. Kindly switch on your videos so that we can click the photograph, and kindly fill in the feedback form. The link is posted in the chat box. Thank you, sir. Now, the idea presentations, the participants and idea presenters are requested to join the idea competition session by 11:15 with the respective tracks. The Zoom links for the same is available in the track sheet. I repeat, the participants and idea presenters are requested to join the idea competition session by 11:15 a.m. with the respective tracks. The Zoom links for the same is available in the track sheet. Thank you so much.